Alrighty, so we're gonna get into a bunch of stuff. So we'll just get right into it here. Why are we here today, right? We're looking at business planning. It's a wonderful buzzword that we talk about all the time. What's business planning? Do we actually? Who here thinks or who here says that they can actually have a written business plan? Okay, so there's a few of you, right? So that means the vast majority of you don't, and that's what we're here to solve today. Is you're going to leave here with a business plan. Now, is this one that you're going to get from business school or anything like that? No, because I love trying to make complicated things and try to make them simple, right? And if you've been in real estate for any length of time, you know that real estate is not, it's difficult. There's a lot going on, but it's not that complicated. Things can be simple if we just drill things down to its simplest form. Guys, there's a chair for every bum. So there's a couple of chairs you might have to turn around. If you need I know a little cramped. I also have some folding chairs if anybody wants to put a space. There's also one up here in the middle of this room. And if anybody needs a clipboard, I've got clipboards if you're sitting in the middle of the hall or something like that. All righty. So we know about goals though, right? Goals, right? Who here has clearly defined written goals? Anybody? Okay, about half the room, which is pretty good. Now, goals are one of those things that everybody says to have goals, right? When I say everybody, you talk to any, you listen to any speaker, you got any sort of successful person who's writing articles or on Facebook or Instagram stuff, everybody talks about goals. And eventually I started to clue into this and say, you know what, if everyone's talking about goals, if all these successful people are talking goals, if all these athletes, if everybody I look up to is talking about goals, maybe it's time I actually get some and write them down. So for those, I'll just little interaction here. For those of you who have clearly defined written goals, what does it do for you? Bill, you raise your hand, I'll pick on you. What does it do for you?
Yeah, it sets a target for me. It's something to work towards, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. What's that, Brian? You can raise your hand.
Yeah, it depends on the goal, but it just sets like the framework for what your business goals for me set the framework for what my entire year is gonna look like.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. It gives you some perspective. It gives you a target. It gives you something to work towards. Right. I love the quote in the middle here. You've heard this before if you attended a Buffini or a Robbins. Right. Some people. Yeah, I think there's still a few. Anybody need a workbook? Cass has some workbooks. Some people aim for nothing in life and hit it with amazing accuracy. And this is, I'll say extra true for real estate agents. A lot of times, hey, I was there. I've been there. I'm just kind of watering aimlessly every day, just going up, trying to make some sales. And just grind it away, right? You just do the grind, and then you end up at the end of the year, and you kind of wonder what the hell just happened. And anybody ever ended up at the end of the year going, "Where'd all my money go?" Okay, all right, I've been there as well. It's not a fun thing. And then CRA comes knocking, and you're really up the creek, right? So goals are super important. And so when we talk about the business plan, we're going to do some goal setting. We're going to we'll set some targets, but more importantly, if we know goals are good, everyone here agrees, I would think, like, okay, yeah, goals are good. So why don't we do them? I have to say specifically for you. I don't want to get all personal right now, but why do people not set goals? Pardon?
Lazy.
Laziness, scared. What if I never achieve them?
Yeah.
Any other reasons? Fear? Yeah. Pretty much any time we don't do something that we know we should, it's almost 100% of the time it's fear-based. Every single time we're afraid of something. What somebody's going to think of me, what am I going to look like? What happens if I actually do obtain this? Then what? What does this mean? What does it say about me? Right? So a lot of people have different reasons why we don't set it. We know it's good. Why don't we do it? And that's what we're going to talk about a lot today is set the plan and look at execution, because a plan without execution is nothing, right? And this is a quote. We're going to spend a little bit of time dissecting here a little bit. So it says goals. This is from Jim Rohn. There's no telling what you can do when you get inspired by them. There's no telling what you can do when you believe in them. And there's no telling what will happen when you act upon them. Very true words. So this is a big one. Do your goals inspire you? Do your goals light the fire? Do you get a little amped up when you think about your goals? Or do you set goals and targets that, I don't know, your parents want to set for you? Or the real estate board sets for you, or your colleague wants to set for you. After talking to, hundreds of realtors now in my career, and I've sat down with many of you, and I'd ask, hey, what's the goal for next year? I don't know, this many ends. I said, okay, well, why? Why the number 40 if it was 40? Oh, it's just more than last year. Sounds good. Sounds like a good number. I think I'll do it. when I started, somebody asked me what my goal was. When I first, this is like my first or second week, and I said, I don't know. I said, I think a house a week sounds great. And I said, that's a goal. And I kind of got laughed at a little bit because I didn't have a hot clue what that meant. I just picked it because it sounded good. Anybody here pick a goal because it sounded good? Like, sure. Is that a goal that inspires you? If you're just picking it out of the sky, if you're just picking a number, because well, that's what, I want to beat that guy on the board, so I'm going to do one more than him. How much does that inspire you? Maybe a little, I don't know, but it doesn't, sometimes a lot, depends, you've been there, right? But your goals have to inspire you. If they don't inspire you, what the hell are we doing? Right, so they got to mean something behind it, and that's the first part of today, is we're really going to work on this, because we're not just going to set a business plan that sounds good, that looks good, that you're going to throw in the trash after, and even if you do, but I'm hoping the business plan is actually going to mean something. And why we call it inside out business planning is because that's where it's going to start. I'm not here to throw things on you. You are here to concoct and create your own plan out of who you are, what your skills are, and what you want for your life. Because I've said this numerous times, if this business, I love real estate. I am passionate about it. I breathe it. Everything I have in my life is because of this business. Everything I owe to real estate. I effing love it. But if this business, it's the vehicle to give you the life that you want. If you're using this business and you're not getting the life that you want from it, again, what the hell are we doing? Why are we slaving away, working with crazy clients, getting yelled at, getting sued, whatever it is, staying up at late, smashing our phones, all this stuff, and being miserable and not getting the life that we want? What's the point? Right? It's the vehicle to give you the life that you want. And if you don't know what you want, if you don't know the life that you want, we're back to having goals you pick out of the sky or whatever. We've got to get goals. We've got to get targets. We have to get a plan that's actually going to get some fire in your belly. And rather than goal, I use this word more than I use goals or targets. And that word is vision. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, but this is what vision is. Vision is a picture of the future of what could be, and it's fueled by a passion that it should be. That is vision. Vision is seeing what's not in existence yet. Here's where I want to go. Here's where I want to be. Here's what I want my life to look like. It's said that the language of the heart is not words. The language of the heart is pictures and dreams. And this isn't, I don't mean to be a little fluffy here and just have, dream big and, shoot for the stars. Yeah. But vision is different. Vision has power. Vision has purpose behind it. You guys recognize Jay Shetty? He talks about how the world is using the power of vision and visualization.
Whether it's David Beckham taking one of his famous free kicks, or whether it's Lewis Hamilton winning the Formula One, or whether it was Steve Jobs about to give one of his famous keynotes, the most underrated skill was this. Visualization, the recreation of images, sounds, and environments before it has happened, is one of the most powerful skills in the world. A very powerful meditation and mindfulness practice, visualization has been used for centuries to help prepare the mind, the body, and the consciousness for upcoming challenges, situations, and circumstances. Some of the world's greatest athletes use visualization as a way to prepare for big games, the big day, musicians for their new concerts and tours, and CEOs for their very important meetings. Psychologist Alan Richardson set out to prove the power of visualization through an experiment that I want to share with you today.
That's great. Do tell.
Richardson gathered a group of basketball players and arranged them into 3 different groups. The intent of this study was to demonstrate the effectiveness of visualization in how the players converted free throws.
Nothing but net.
The 3 groups were as follows. The first group practiced 20 minutes every day. The second group visualized themselves making free throws but didn't participate in practice. The third group did not practice free throws or visualization at all.
You don't have to do anything.
The results were absolutely staggering. The group that only visualized free throws and didn't practice at all showed marked improvement and were nearly as accurate as the ones that practiced for 20 minutes every single day.
What?
What it showed is that visualization and the recreation of that moment in time allowed people to prepare mentally to the effect of 20 minutes a day of practice. Now, the group that didn't practice or didn't visualize at all naturally regressed. They took a step backward. What this has shown in countless other examples as well is how visualization with action, with practice, can be the formula that we've all been looking for. Often we get forced into action without visualization. And although that really gets us going and that practice really does make us perfect, that visualization can start the process with more confidence, more conviction, and more courage.
All right, I love this quote from Henry Ford. Right, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. That's a quote from a visionary, somebody who saw the future before it was happening, right? Who had an idea, right? And who saw people driving around, and I don't even, I guess how he imagined it, right? Weren't horses, right? Howard Schultz, founder and CEO of Starbucks, I wanted to build the kind of company my father never had the chance to work for. They had a vision. They visualized what they wanted to build an entire company. Martin Luther King, he did not say, I have a goal. I have a checklist. I have a plan. No, he said, I have a dream. I have a dream. He saw a world that no one else was seeing. He saw something different. He saw something for his life, for his communities, for the planet, for the country, for everyone. It wasn't about a goal, a plan, or a checklist. It starts with vision. Vision gives purpose to your work. Right? Love this movie, and Brian does too. Right? But why he goes to, I always watch that. I'm like, man, I would be the guy in the back shit my pants. That guy, but that's why do they go? They charge, they do. And if you watch Braveheart, the scenes, the battle scenes, why do they go do that? If you look at any war like this, they're going because they got purpose behind it. Like, who the hell would do that, right? No one else would want. I wouldn't want to do that, right? I was looking at COVID the last 18 months, and we all have to stay inside and wear masks. Then all of a sudden, you watch a couple of these movies, you're like, you know what? I don't got it so bad. Pretty good gig I got going with my latte bar at home. I watching Netflix, a Jordan documentary for the 4th time, right? It's not too bad, right? So vision, though, that's what gives purpose to your work. Willie Wonka saw a future that he wanted, saw freedom for his people, and you go out and you put the work in, you put purpose behind the work. So what we're going to do right now is an exercise, and I know if you've been around, we've done this, but it's important to do it because I do it all the time, right? Thank you. Anybody else need one while we go? There we go. Okay. Right back to you. Okay. Oh, Brian needs one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have to open my computer and get distracted.
Yeah, you sure can.
There we go.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Okay. So it's in there. These are what I call the 5 F's. These are the 5 areas of your life, 5 rings, what you want to call it. I know it's not a very exciting diagram there, but we have faith, fitness, finances, family, and fun. When I was talking about fitness, I look at also the physical and the mental. But these are 5 areas of your life. And what we need to do, what we're going to take a couple minutes to do right now, is you need to start this process. You need to get a vision. When you close your eyes, what do you see? Now, all of these might have different rankings or importances to you. Some people might have faith very high. Some people, it's not a big deal. Not sure. That's okay. But what's the vision for each of these? When you close your eyes, what do you see? I mean, I always get, geez, when I start thinking of my family, it's not about, okay, what's my goal? Like, I don't have a checklist for my kid for crying out loud. Okay, learn how to write name, check. No, and then like, oh, this is like, he's got to learn how to learn math and do a checkbox. There's no plan. I don't have goals for my kid. What I have is a vision for him. What I have is I want to see them, how they grow up, how they talk to each other, how they treat people, how we hug, where we can go on vacations, how we can live life, how we can enjoy the the summers, the winter that's coming up, that doesn't fuel anything in you, dear Lord, right? Your finances, what do you see? Do you see yourself poor? Do you see yourself rich? Do you see yourself giving back? Do you see yourself being charitable, doing something for the community, being an actual, having some significance? What do you see for fun in your life? So we're gonna take a couple minutes, and what I want you to do in these circles, if you have it, now if you're on the laptop, I know it might be a little clumsy, but there should be a text box in the circle, I think. Josh, was it? Yeah, okay, just making sure it was, I'm not that technically proficient. So anyways, it should be there and you can be able to type in. And if you have a pen handy, we're gonna take a couple minutes here and I want you to just write down, close your eyes and then open up, get a vision and just write down some of the things that you see. Write down some of the things that you really want, not in your head, in your heart. I know we're gonna room full of a bunch of people. Thank you. A room full of a bunch of people, but this is something we'll just do a little bit right now, but I encourage you to go home and really do this, and do this if you have a spouse or a partner, do this with them. Okay, but for now, let's get a bit of a vision. Let's take a couple minutes and let's visualize what you want for each of these areas in your life. I'm gonna put on some cheesy music in the background. Spa music, yeah.
I just put a question mark in the face.
Yeah, I don't know. I could search for Zen.
Yeah.
Zeppelin, Zen Spa. Yeah,
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, this is nice too. Like, it doesn't matter.
Then put that as to believe it yourself. It's your vision.
Punish that.
This is really, it's, you know,
I just wanted an
a
example.
little too Zen.
Yeah.
No, no, I just wanted an example.
I should have had this.
I'm just trying.
Thought, it's a deeper thought, spouse, partner, whatever it is, and really, really, again, close your eye and see it, right? See it with just more than your mind and your eyes, see it with your heart on what you really want. Now, if you turn the next page, looking at the vision and the budget here, It's not going to be on the screen, so follow along here with my words. So what we have here is now that you have, in theory, you have a vision, you have some targets that you want to set for your life and what you want your life to look like. Guess what? All your visions and your plans and your dreams for your life have a cost. It's the harsh reality of the world. It's expensive, right? Things cost much. If you want to lose, if on fitness side, I was wanting down to a size 34, it'd be nice. Guess what? It's going to cost something, right? Maybe I could do push at home, but I have to have a gym membership, or I got to buy the treadmill, or whatever it is, or I got to eat better. Isn't the world a cruel place where it's more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap?
Yeah.
I think that the world's backwards, but anyways, right? So it's more expensive to eat healthy and whatever you need to do, right? Your finances, of course. The finances are a huge one, right? It's expensive if you want to give back to the community. Well, you have to have a surplus. If you want to give back, need to have that surplus, right? My dad, I love, says if you want to help the poor, the first rule is don't be one of them. Oh, we laughed at that. Okay, but anyways, it's true, right? Anyways, okay. So what you have here in the next couple pages are looking at the actual budget for that vision, right? You got the vision, now you got to set the budget behind it. So you can see that in each category, you got faith, fitness. Now I filled out a few lines for you, but there might be some other, expense lines in each of those categories. What I want you to do is go through it and put the monthly budget in and then the annual. If you don't know how to do that, start with monthly and then times it by 12, right? Or if it's an annual budget, if there's something like what it is annually, do that and then divide by 12, and you can get a monthly budget. Yeah. Right. Math. There's a little bit of math today. Okay, just a little bit. So anyway, I'll just whip through these kind of. So faith, you got giving, donations, personal growth, what you want to do there. Your fitness, you got gym memberships, equipment, supplements, other things you want to put in there. Cool. Finances, you got retirement savings, investments, opportunity savings. So what I mean by that, if you don't know what any of these lines are, that's fine. So retirement savings, and who here's on pension? No one, right? So you got to actually save for retirement. Hey, brand new young agents, you got to start saving for retirement. Hate to break it to you, right? If you want to get retired, you got to put stocks of money away. Investments. What do you want to invest in, right? If you're looking at stocks or TFSAs or whatever it is, or if you want to buy rental properties, you got to have a budget for that. That is different than retirement savings, in my opinion, right? Not going to do a huge, massive lesson on budgeting today, but hey, having money stocked away is different than buying investments actively, right? Having some, and that's what I call opportunity savings. I don't know if anybody has this, but I like having a little kitty aside. If I need to pounce on something, if there's something that's good, if I see an opportunity, I want to have almost that, hey, you know what? I'm going to kiss this money goodbye money. I'm going to roll the dice on a couple things. Okay, that's just me. I like to have that line in there. An emergency fund. It is.
It is nice.
It is.
It
It is. Follow the plan. It's great, right? Emergency fund, right? That's, and say if you are at the beginning of your financial journey, always have emergency fund. Dave Ramsey talks about having $1,000 cash hidden somewhere, locked away. Now you're getting cold. Okay, is it cooling off in here a little bit? Okay, good. I cast open the door because it's roasting. You guys manage that. It's good. Okay. And any other things you want to do for your finances, right? You got family. Now this is what it takes to operate your household: mortgage, property taxes, utilities, insurance, groceries, clothing, repairs and maintenance, your car stuff, auto insurance, licenses, sports you want to play, other, hockey's expensive. Fun, what are you doing for travel, movies, sports, dinners out? Some of this is written pre-COVID, but anyways, you get the idea for fun, right? Put your Netflix subscription in there, yada, yada. Okay, so go through this and put a quick budget together. And again, this is not going to be, I don't expect it to be 100% accurate unless you got your QuickBooks on your phone or something like that, but get through. It's more about the exercise than it is the actual hardcore number, because you can go home. That's why God gave us pens. We can do this again and refine it. But go through a couple minutes, monthly and annual budgets for each of these expense lines. Feel free to write some more in if you need. Put the chill music back on for Daniela.
Yeah.
Aaron has no expenses so far. It's pretty good. It's
Zero.
impressive.
I'm like, what do I really?
She has a pension. She has a pension.
Yeah.
She has a pension.
I'm actually just doing this for fun. I don't wanna put this down, but.
This is where, yeah, this is usually where groaning starts. I got it.
Ownership.
Okay, so you should have your net income target. Now, what that net income target, your NIT, what is that? In layman's words?
Pre-tax money. At the end of it, after all the expenses, the net.
Yeah, this is what, that number is what you need to live after the government takes their chunk. That's how much you need in your pocket at the end of the day to fund the vision that you just created for your life. Simple enough, right? That's the budget. That's what you need in order to accomplish those 5 circles, what you want to get to. This is the number that you need to get in your pocket at the end of the day. Okay, so now though, you have to figure out other expenses, right? Guess what? Real estate happens to have some expenses, right? We love that about real estate. So as far as we want to calculate your business expenses, okay? So the first one there, account for your splits, fees, office fees, whatever else it is. Again, you have a calculator. It depends. Now, just follow the steps. Hopefully it should be pretty simple. So the first one says split plan. So if you're on the 80-20 split, if your net income target is under $100,000, times it by 1.21, and that will give you a number. Or if your net income target is over 100, follow that formula. Okay, so it counts for, because there's a threshold, right? After you make over $100,000, then it's the fees change, right? The splits change. So use that formula there to fill out A and B. Now, if you're not on the split plan, if you're on the top tier plan, right, the 1499 plan, then use that formula. So use your NIT number from the previous page, times it by 0.025 plus 17,988 plus 1350. It's actually, sorry, that should be 1400. Crap. Instead of the 1350, put 1400. My bad. That's still the Royal Page 1%. It went up, and that's, I just missed that calculation from the old worksheet. Okay, so you should only fill out either A, B, or C, not all 3 of them, just just one of them. You'll have A, B, or C.
So instead of 1350, what was it supposed to be?
Pardon?
Instead of 1350, what is that?
1400. Well, that's the 1% cap. It's ultimately. That's your, and it accounts for like RFP matching. I'm assuming it does it. It's just easier that way to look
So
at
you're saying that RSP matching are a savings plan from the office?
it. What?
That's news to me.
You're talking
Being
about?
sarcastic.
Okay. Okay, everyone's good? We got an A, B, or C? Maybe any more time? We're good? Okay, I just want to move together, okay? Okay, then you got to add all your other business expenses. I know this is where, again, it could be a little, you know, moving target, use your best guess right now. Right, so you got your board fees, supposed to say franchise, sorry. Franchise fees, that's whatever that is. Sorry, I can figure that out for you right now. But anyways, your cell phone, professional fees, that's your accountants, lawyers, whatever else you need to use. Marketing and advertising. Do you even know what that is? Or are you wildly going out there? But anyways, your website, you see any CRMs, your airs and admissions, any conferences you want to go to, some of those other business expenses, right? Now I know the marketing advertising is probably the most variable one. That can be, you know, anywhere from 0 to $5 million or whatever it is. I put for franchise fees, it's $2,028. I think board fees are about roughly $2,760. What's, you know, $550? 6, 5
For the year?
Yeah, years and admissions.
It's not even over 2,000.
No,
Yeah.
That's a premium if you, that's a
Oh,
deductible.
that's
If you,
deductible.
so I guess,
I think it's 550.
I think it's $550. Yeah, that's right.
What did we cover? That 2 million? 10 million?
Probably not enough.
Right, no, I don't know.
Never been sued.
Sorry, it was, I think board fees, I get approximately starting at 2760 for board fees, 2028 for franchise fees. And then you know it's 550, I think. The conference, which you'd all be budgeting in that line, because where's the conference this year? Winnipeg for a pitch conference, so I don't know how much that is. I think it's usually about $900, about $1,000 there. But then the bar tab is $3,000. No, my bar tab.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should have them, everybody got line D? Almost, okay.
What is there as an admission?
550.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what is there? Well,
Well, you see.
you screw up. Okay, so you should be able to add those up to get your line D. Professional fees, accountants, lawyers, accountants, that's basically, mostly would just be accountants. Accountants, lawyers, tax lawyers, whatever you use. Consultants of some kind. If you use blue jeans, bookkeeping services, all that kind of stuff. Right, I should put on there, if you have assistants in here, you should probably put your salaries in there for assistants. Sorry, that's not in there, but put that under professional fees if you want, or other. If you outsource your social media, put it on there, whoever else you use, can put that under professional fees or other. Few heads down.
Yeah. In Charlotte was,
Your time to high five.
Yeah,
Oh.
during a business planning, yeah, it's like 20 to 30 weeks.
They might, your phone was listening.
Yeah. You guys want off my automated agent? Becoming. Okay, cool. That'll be a great day soon enough.
just want to make sure you got my previous message about those leaves.
30 qualified buyers are waiting.
You're like just literally people on my matrix from years ago.
All right, good. Have we got line D? Okay, then paragraph 3, add lines A, B, or C. So from number 1 up top, one of those, whatever you have filled out, add that to line D, and that will be your target gross commission, your target GCI. Okay, so from whatever line you filled out in number 1, add it to the D there, and out spits your target gross commission. So basically what that means is that's how much commission you need to earn, right? That's your target, that's your gross commission income, right? That's GCI, so what we live and die by, right? Don't know GCI, right? So that's your total, that's your gross commission income. And we factored in your business expenses, what it's needed to acquire that income. We factored in taxes, and then to fund your life that you really want. Hence why we call it getting inside out. So that number, that target GCI, that's how much money you need to make next year.
Like, what happens if your goal is
Okay,
way higher
so
than
so here's the thing. Okay, so some great questions there. Now that's what, so if you're like, oh my gosh, I make more money than that. Good for you, right? That's, then what I would say is time to what? Up your vision. Sorry if I could just, I can't hear myself sometimes, sorry. I'm trying to be rude. Just couldn't hear. Right, it's time to up your vision. If you got a whole bunch of stuff left over, and you're like, oh man, well, I make more than that. I got this covered by 3 times. Up your damn vision. Dream bigger, dream more. The greatest thing I love about, I remember this is an aside, but I talked to somebody I really respected and admired a long time ago. I was a kid, and I was talking about some things I wanted to do. And at that time I was actually I had a girlfriend and I was dating her, and I was like, oh, there's all these things I want to do with her. And I was like, but then like, I want to kind of save it, you know, for those other milestones. And she said, Michael says, do it now, because what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You'll get to dream new dreams. Don't save, that one for, well, I'll save that one for the anniversary. It's like, no, do it now. Why not? 'Cause then you just think of something cooler and better for them, right? You're always kind of upping your dreams. So if you have that number, then I'll look at upping your vision. Where is it need? Maybe it's on the investment side. Maybe it's on the significant side. Are you hoarding it all? Or is there some way to be a bit more significant? Maybe you want to build something that lasts a bit longer than next year or next month. Again, I don't know, but if your number is covered by that much, that's good, right? If your number's on the opposite, you're like, holy shit, I don't make that much money. Well, then we're gonna have either an expense problem or an income problem, right? That's the only way to deal with that. That makes sense? Anybody have any questions about this? But anyways, the whole point of this is I just gave you your target commission, that it actually means something. This is all tied back to what you wrote down for your vision. Right? So it's not a number we just picked out of the sky because it was higher than your buddy, or because it sounded good, or it was a nice round number, right? It actually means something. Okay, so now we got to get into a few other things. Okay, next page, calculate your average commission. Hopefully you know this stuff already. If you don't, ballpark it. But estimate your average sale price in line A. Estimate your average commission rate in B. And then you figure out how much commission you make per end in line 3, which is known as your CPE, commission per end. So how much money you make on every deal on average. Okay. Some of you should probably, well, a lot of you all should know this. If you don't, estimate, ballpark. If you're just brand new, take a stab at it. I'd say average sale price of Winnipeg is what? Like almost 400 grand, 386,000 for residential detached. Commission probably 1.8 right now on everything. At the end of the day, use that. Right. Yeah, commission rate's like how much, yeah, what's your average commission rate? 2%, 2.5, whatever it is. Yep. Everybody got their CPE, the average commission per end, how much money they make on average per end? Okay. So the next line there is calculating your annual transaction goals. This is simple enough. You take the GCI, so you need to make $200,000 as an example, and yet on average do $5,000 in transaction. You need to sell 40 homes, right? Let's quick math on that. Okay, so you take your GCI from the previous page, divide it by commission per end, and that gives you your ATG, which is your annual transaction goal. Okay, that's how many homes you need to sell, how many units you got to sell. Everybody following along, making sure I don't lose anybody? We're good? Sure, no problem. So while some people catching, anybody, so they see the number, what do you think about the number? Shall I nod your head? Like, good, got it, realistic, cool?
I think I'm missing something.
Sure, I'll just take a look.
No, I'm good. Where did you go?
Hmm? I can't understand what you're saying. Any aspect you need. I'm being
Bingo,
genuine
bango.
right now.
Now you're in business, Sonia. Okay. Curious, anybody else, where they see the number, what do they think? Harry, what about you? Possible. Is it something you got stretched towards? Good. Good. Anybody else? I'm trying to pick on some people here. Johnny, what about you? What does your number say to you? You don't have to tell what the number is, but what do you think of it?
Sorry, you pulled me out of the phone there.
Okay,
Sorry.
sorry about it. I can circle back. It's all good. Do your thing, buddy. Okay. Anyway, so now you have your annual transaction. Let's see, homes you need to sell. We know how much money you need to make. So now it goes into monthly transaction targets. Okay. Now this one, have a little bit of, you can have some wiggle room with this, okay, but I'll quickly explain it. So, for instance, is every month the same in real estate?
No.
Is every season the same in real estate? No, we know what's busier, what's slower. If you need to have, I'm just making this up, if you need to sell 24 homes, to say, well, 24 divided by 12 is 2, I need to sell 2 homes a month. You're not wrong, but it's just not reality. Reality is you're gonna sell more in Q2 and Q3, right? So you wanna weight that out a little bit in order to come up with realistic quarterly targets, okay? So if you look through here, there's Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 targets in front of you, right? So start there. Now, the numbers are, I said 0.15. This is, again, use your own numbers. You don't have to use mine. In this example, 0.15 means 15% of the business is gonna be done in Q1, 50% in Q2, 20% in Q3, 15% in Q4. Use your own numbers, see what you think and how heavy your business is. And if you're brand new, maybe you just use that if you want, but it's usually pretty good. Q2 is usually make most of your money, right? Almost half your year's made up in the spring sometimes. Okay. So if that makes sense, you just kind of don't worry about the months right now, just a Q1 target. So the annual transaction goals would be a 24 example times 24 by 0.15.
Do we round up these numbers?
Yeah, sure. There's no like, especially if like, well, if you have, how do you get 0.2 of a transaction?
Yeah.
All right, so play around with it, right? If you want to go up, down, whatever it is, it's not an exact science here. It's just breaking it all down. Right? So you'll have your, so your annual sorry, just so you can see this. So the first bullet there, the first space, you take your annual goal times by 15%, that will give you a number, and then you want to times that by your commission per N, which means that gives you how much money you need to make that quarter. Make sense? Are you getting it with me? I'll pull it up. Does anybody need to like throw it on the screen?
No, I feel like slow down for a minute.
Okay, I can slow down. No problem. Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm sorry, I need a mental break for a second. Yeah, just give me.
Oh, it's not.
Oh. I don't hear any of this, I just snapped.
How many deals do you want to do? I'll just do it where you go.
But that's not how we want to do it, based on what you figured out, right?
No, I just.
Okay, I know, I have 5.25 times the price of Yeah. Right? Oh, by the dollar amount? Oh, okay. I feel like I want to move this on. To I know.
Okay. Okay, so I thank you, Jish, for, I have to show you guys this shit. Yeah, you can redo this online. Okay, gang, if you can watch the screen for a second, I'm really apologize. I messed up on something, so hopefully your numbers don't get messed up, and I'll retract. So this line here, sorry, your GCI line, it says to add, you know, line 1 from up here plus line 2 here. That should you also say add your net income target from the previous page. This one here. Yeah. Sorry, gang. So in this example, this person has an NIT of 130. So you take 130 and then you do this stuff. And sorry, so this line here should add your NIT from the previous page to this, and that will be your true GCI number. So I apologize for the mix up. I did not catch that in previous years. Do this 20.
I just automatically added it.
Yeah, I know, just. Yes, so on this line here, add your net income target to it as well. So add lines A, B, or C plus D plus your net income target, it should say, to arrive at your gross commission. You didn't put it all in. Sorry.
So they see it and
Now some people might be like, oh shit, that's a lot more than I was.
I would wait 10 for a second.
Or the page prime takes hugest market dive.
Everyone's goals are,
Agent unknown
everyone's
date.
goals are $30,000. You okay? You're good now? Okay, you look like you're about to have a coronary.
I think I have like unrealistic numbers.
Not at all.
Okay.
What's up? Plus. That is the same thing.
Did this number.
No, you're good. That's why. They were on this.
Oh, that's what
That's
it
why I
is.
screwed up.
Okay, so I did it right, so this.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, so apparently I butchered this thing. I apologize.
Okay, we did it.
Okay, so one little quick, another correction on it, and I apologize. That's why it's the, if you were on the splits, this NIT number is cool. Okay, these numbers are cool. If you're on the top tier, that's where the mistake was made, because I didn't put the NIT in there. Otherwise, it would have been okay. So that's where I missed it. So if you're on the top tier plan, see how this adjusts for a split and then it adds the NIT? This one, I forgot to add the NIT. So that's where this, so if you're on the top tier plan, that's where the mistake was made. And that's why this should have been okay. So I apologize. That's where it was missed. So if you're on the split,
Yeah.
you're good. If you're on the split, there's no need to go back a page. Your numbers are right. If you're on the top tier here, that's where you need to add that NIT to this number. Go with that. My apologies. I'll fix
So I
that.
was gonna have to read, fruits and muffins there and cut the, budget.
Yeah.
Can't cut through nothing.
Ah,
I'm saying the grocery bill. after we're
Oh.
done or something, because the numbers are skewed after adding that.
yeah. Okay, is everybody good now? Are we there? Sorry about that, gang. That's done. Okay, do we have our quarterly target set? I'm not hearing anybody. Sorry, guys, are we all have our quarterly targets? Crush it in the back, I love it. Everybody's good on quarterly targets, yes? Am I hearing you guys slow down? Okay. The Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And so when I have the months in there, I guess we'll just follow along here. You know, so if you, in this example here, this person, you know, they need to sell 4 homes, $28,000. You know, now January, February, March, chop it up how you want. Right? If you want to go 4 homes, 1, 1, and 2, 2, 1, 1, whatever. Plan your life, vacations. You can set it that way if you want. Right? But I don't really love monthly targets. Just because the business is the cycles for buying and selling are, you know, 60, 90, 6 months away kind of thing. So I like to get quarterly targets because if you have, you know, it's like if all your buyers end up buying on January 31, well, not a big January, but so then you have a shitty February, right? So and the vice versa can happen. They buy on February 1, all of a sudden your February is huge. So I like looking at it quarterly, but if you're a monthly person, you can break it down monthly. Right, because if you have a slow 1 month, you can make up for it the next month. That's why I like quarterly. Right, so that's just me. Okay, we're good. Okay. Whew. All right, math's hard. So,
It is.
especially when you're realistically you're screwed with all that. So the last page is just a recap. This is your one sheeter. Right, this is the thing to stick in front of your. This is the thing to stick on your windshield if you're driving. It's a joke. This is the thing to keep in front of you. It's just a summary. So you have your NIT at the top there, right? What you got from the other page. So in order to live the life you want, accomplish your goals and dreams, fulfill that vision, you need to clear 130 in your pocket after tax. But you got expenses. So you need to generate 186,000. You need to generate that much GCI in order to pocket that much money. In order to hit that, you got to sell your average annual transaction goal of how many homes next year. And if you want, you can lay it all out in a monthly, this little monthly table there. And you don't have to do it, but if you want to do that, you can put it all in the monthly table. So this is your one sheet goal setting. If you want to know, hit your targets. Okay. And again, the whole idea is, what is this fueled by? What you want for your life. Fueled by greed and competition. Joking. Okay. So, everybody cool? I'll let you guys, anybody need a minute, want to fill that out? Cool. Okay. And again, you have all this, everybody got emailed this in a Word doc and a PDF attachment. So if you want to go home, do it all over again, that's cool. Again, it's more about the exercise. Your numbers aren't going to be 100% accurate, right? You don't know all of your expense lines off the top of your head, right? But it's about going through this, and I encourage you to go through it in more detail. The more detail you put, the more accurate it all is, right? Okay. All right. All right. So at the end of the day, it's my favorite term. Okay, so we have all these goals. We have all these targets. The targets mean something. We're inspired. Hopefully these goals inspire you, because again, that number, that annual transaction target, is all attached to the life you want. So hopefully that brings a little bit of inspiration to you, and that target means something. Then of course the question is, how the hell do we get it? What's the plan to execute on the target? Right? And this is what I use. I like using the term reverse engineering. I like to take something, here's the end, and here's the car, whatever it is, and I'm going to completely deconstruct it to its simplest parts into how something was built. That's just how my brain operates, so that's how I have to teach you. That's the way my brain goes. Okay, so what you have there is that wonderful red triangle. You guys I'm sure some people have seen this before. I'm going to do it on the whiteboard so it's live first. So you have your annual transaction target. You should be able to write that at the top of the page, right? It says ATG, write that number on there, and write your GCI from the previous stuff. Okay, right at the top of the page. So just gonna make it up here. Well, let me give you an example. How many homes do you need to sell?
46.
46? You want to share how much money you need to make? Well, I can do the math. It's probably figureable.
It's 289, 72.
Okay, 289?
72.
290 sounds good. All right.
Very good.
Okay, so what we have here, now Jordana, if we're looking at this for your business, it's okay to pick on you?
Yep, go for it.
Beauty, thank you. Okay, so how many, I think I have buyers on this side, right? So how many, out of those 46 ends, how many buyer ends are you gonna have?
20.
20? Okay. Ugh. Okay. Listing ends, how many are you gonna do? Guys, just do this, plug your numbers in and follow along. But put your numbers in. Okay, put Jordana. How many listing ends would that be? That would be 26. Okay, so Jordana's gonna make, her goal is she's gonna do 20 buyers and 26 listings. Now, Jordana, there's this wonderful thing here. So I was gonna ask you, how many buyer clients do you need to have to sell 20 buyers?
Like 50.
Okay, cool. So I think we have, okay, my bad, deal with my penmanship, right? So she needs to have 50. Now, on your sheet, you'll have this conversion percentage. So another way I could have asked her that is, what percentage of your buyers actually end up buying, right? So 20 over 50 is actually 40%. Does that make sense? So that conversion rate in there. So it's another way how you want to do it. However you ask the question. The way I ask the question on your sheet there, if you read, so line A, sorry, says buyer ends is an explanation on the conversion, the first conversion percentage, and it's what percentage of your buyers actually buy, right? And so she was at 40%, right? So it's a 40% conversion ratio. If you want to do the math on that, you take 20 divided by 40, and that will spit out 50. Okay, I know we're doing some math here, but this is unfortunately business. Business requires math, right? Because business don't care about your feelings, cares about the numbers. Okay, cool. So that's a 40% conversion ratio. Does that make sense? So now, Jordana, what percentage of how many meetings, buyer meetings do you need to go on, or how many of your buyer meetings result in a buyer client signed contract agency, whatever you want to call it?
Signed
Meetings,
buyer
face to face or virtual buyer meetings. How many of those result in a client?
I of it, say if we're actually doing the meeting properly, probably like 80%.
80%?
Doing things properly.
Cool, we're doing things properly, that's the way we like to do them, okay? 80%, so now it's 50 divided by 80, or 80%, so 0.8. Somebody got a calculator? I should know this.
80%, sorry. I missed that.
So 50 divided by 0.8,
Oh,
sorry? 60.5, going on 63. Okay, so that should say buyer, yes, it's gross, buyer appointments. Gene says we need, Jesus, 163 buyer appointments. So Jordana, on all the leads that you get, how many leads, what percentage of leads that you talk to result in an actual buyer appointment?
Oh, that's like 20%.
Okay, so 20%. And this isn't a right or a wrong, this is Jordana's business, okay? Now, if you don't have these numbers, if you don't know them, you can steal Jordana's or whatever it is, industry standards, this is probably, I don't know, how do you guys feel about this? Right, so anyway, so what's 63 divided by 0.2? We got a calculator. Okay, I'll just do it myself then.
12.6, 13.
315.
oh, sorry. Yeah, 1.2.
This is my markers. So it says buyer leads. Now, when the word that I used there was 315. I like to say buyer leads. This doesn't necessarily mean buyer. I like to use the word conversations. If you know any of our stuff, you gotta talk to this many people, right? You gotta, depending on how you get them, right? There's not that many people buying leads and all that kind of crap. You're gonna talk to. Basically, this way, Jordana needs to have 315 conversations a year with buyers because she's gonna get 20% of those people to have an appointment. And then she's gonna get 80% of those appointments are gonna turn into real clients, signed agreements. And out of those signed agreements, 40% of them are gonna buy this year to get 20 ends. She's doing her 20 buyer ends, that's her goal to get to 46. Make sense? So you just drill down to what you actually need to do, and we're gonna keep going on this. You drill it down to what, eventually you're gonna see what needs to get done today. Right, because it all goes towards a goal. So listing end, so again, we'll do it for everyone here. Jordan, you still cool, or does somebody
Yeah.
want to do it else? Yep.
When
Sorry,
somebody else
Jordan.
do it, when somebody else wants to do it.
Somebody else want to do it? Okay, Jordan, hey,
80.
okay, Brian's good. Okay, so Brian, so how many clients listings do you need to take to sell 26 listings in this example? What would be your percentage? How many of your listings sell?
Oh, 89. Well, at my listings, 92%.
92%? Okay. So he knows 92%. So how many listings do you need to take then? What's 26 divided by 0.92?
My phone is ringing. I can't ignore.
Somebody get, want to be my calculator person? 28.26. 28.26, so let's call it 28, okay? So Brian needs listing clients, which is called a listing contract or a seller, right? So he takes out 28 listings, he's gonna sell 92% of them, 2 of them are gonna expire or list or transferred, just joking, right? 92%. Okay, so Brian, how many listing appointments do you need to go on to get 28 listings? What's your, how many of your listing appointments result in a listing?
82%.
82%. Okay, somebody go 28 divided by 0.82? 34. 34. Thank you. So this says listing appointments. 34. Brian, how many sellers, out of all the leads and conversations you have with sellers, how many of them end up getting a face-to-face? How many, what percentage of people you talk to result in a face-to-face?
I don't track that, but if I had to guess, I'd say 75%.
75%?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's 34 divided by 75, 0.75? 45.23. 45.23. All right, 45 minutes, whatever. Okay, so if we're looking at Brian's, that's for the lead. So Brian's got to talk to 45 potential sellers. He's going to get 75% of those into an appointment, which is a very high conversion ratio. That's good. Brian's good on the phone, right? And then he goes on 34 listing appointments. He converts 82% of those listing appointments to get 28 listings, and 92% of those listings are going to sell, generate 26 listings. 20 plus 26 is 46. A little bit of nerdery here, yes, but imagine we were all, I've used this analogy before. Imagine we were on Shark Tank or on Dragon's Den or something like that. And I said to you, you know, hey, invest in my business, invest in Michael Frey's realtor, Because invest in me, I'm gonna sell a bunch of houses. Why? Because I'm a really nice guy, I got a lot of energy, I got some background, I got some experience, and yeah, I think I do a great job. Who's gonna invest in that?
Show me your numbers.
This is what I tell you, here's what I generate. I generate 350 buyer leads, and this is what my closing ratios, and this is why I'm gonna end up in this business. This is your business, whether you like it or not, you just don't know your numbers. Do you guys know Brian knew those numbers? How many of you know your numbers? All right, we don't, and everyone's, and the room full time. That's okay, you're a realtor, I get it, right? But this is putting the business owner behind your real estate job, being a real estate agent, going around showing homes and being in Parade Homes and all that stuff and drinking lattes. This is the numbers, this is the business behind it, okay? And so when you know these numbers, you're able to project what you need to do, right? It drills down. Now, in this case, right, now Brian has a target, right? And there's two big things to look at with this, right? So if I'm waking up every day or every week, let's go here. Actually, somebody, that was my calculator. Danny, got it going? Yeah. So if Jordana in this case needs to talk to 315 buyers, how many is that per week? Let's say she works, how many weeks to take off?
The last 2 years.
Not
of
you.
my life,
Okay.
like,
Yeah, I want you to take some time off. Let's say it's 48
Like a
weeks.
month,
Let's say take
like a
4
month.
weeks off, okay? So what's 350 divided by 48? 6.56? Yeah. 7. Is that what it is? Okay. Jeez, that was higher. 7 per week. And 45 divided by 4, that's 1 a week, right? I'll just round up. Right? All this can look really daunting. And then I say, Jordana, all you need to do in order to accomplish your goals of 46 cents, make it $290,000 to accomplish all of your dreams and all the vision that you want to do, you got to talk to 7 effing people a week. Plus 1 seller, you got 8. Sound a lot more doable? Okay, and that's what the reverse engineering does. It drills this down into weekly targets. So if I'm waking up every week, and we're going to get into this and how we do it, but every week I'm focused on these 2 numbers. I'm going to make a mess of this one. This one definitely, and this one, right? These are the 2 appointments and conversations, right? You have to have conversations to lead to appointments. Anybody get an appointment without ever talking to somebody before?
Yes.
Never talking? No, not even a text?
Well, no, that's.
Okay.
That's a conversation. Conversations are an interaction of words. Okay, can be text message, emails, DMs, I don't care. Not everything's over the phone anymore, right? That the whole Mike Ferry system is gone. Okay, we're not doing that. If you are a phone guy, Johnny, my master phone caller, right? Johnny will be a little different. His might be over the phone, yours might be over text, might be over DM. But you have to initiate 7 conversations a day towards buyers and 1 towards sellers every week. And it all goes from there. But anyways, you're waking up, so 63 with 63 divided by is 48. She's got to go on at least, what is that, 1.5 buyer appointments a week, a month, roughly, right? What's a half an appointment, round up to 2. Listing appointments, she's got to go on, basically call that 1 a week. And she'll supersede her targets. If Jordana wakes up every week and says, come hell or high water, I'm going to talk to as many people as I can. I talk to at least 7, and that should result in about 2 buyer appointments and 1 listing appointment a week. She goes on those, she'll make her goal. Right? Realtors, myself as well, famous for making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Right? Anybody ever been in a rut before? Anybody like, I don't know what to do next, it's no working, no traction. I get it, totally real thing. Do that. All the other stuff, who gives a shit? Do that later, market later, worry about your branding later, I want my logo, do it later, I want my feature sheets, do it later. Right, whatever it is, this first, this is the priority. Every week, that's your focus. I gotta get on the appointments. So I'm going to, on Monday or whatever it is, I'm going to call, I'm going to talk to as many people as I can until I get my epic appointment. And I'm not going to stop until I do. And once I book that appointment, then I can go on TikTok or whatever the hell you want to do. Okay? Make sense? Okay. And I know TikTok result into conversations, just, you know, everything's I hate social media. Right? So, okay, make sense? Okay, so you hopefully have those numbers. So, and that's on this page, it says, so assuming again, just a little bit of one sheeter. This is your business. Assuming I work blank amount of weeks per year, I need to initiate how many conversations? Buyer lead conversations each week and blank seller lead conversations each week. Okay, so you just do exactly what we did, divide it by however many weeks you're gonna work. And again, there's your second sheet. We already give you one sheeter. We know how much money you need to make. Here's your second sheeter. Here's how many people I need to talk to every day. Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Following. All right, good. How's our time? Powering through? Where's my phone? What time is it? 10:52. You guys want a little breather? Or keep going? 5 minutes?
Keep going.
Outvoted. Okay, keep going. All right, keep going. Okay, so again, I'll keep this in front of you guys a little bit here. Right, we did that. In your, I'll do this quickly here for you as well. This is a spreadsheet. If you guys were at Wade Webb's business planning thing last year, stole this from him, right? You sent it out. This is a spreadsheet to kind of do this. Okay, so I'll just quickly show it to you. Right, these are your targets. Whoops, I can't. It's not a slideshow. Sorry, it's not a real document. Sorry, but anyways, I sent this out to you, or Cass sent this out to you as well. Thank you. You can see my sweat from across the room.
No.
You just all you have to do is enter. It's exactly the same thing we just did. You can enter it in a spreadsheet and it spits out that weekly appointment goals and how many appointments you need to go on. So if you don't want to do it, I like you to do it in pen and paper, get used to it. But there's a spreadsheet as well that Cass sent out, so you all have this. Cool? Okay. So many things. All right. So where is this stuff going to come from? Who are you going to talk to? How are you going to actually generate all these conversations? Where are they going to come from? Okay. All righty. So we're going to talk about some lead generation stuff right now on who to talk to. A lot of this, if you've been in the business a while, you know this stuff. Hope you got a couple other tricks, and I want you to speak up and help out some of the newer agents who don't know some of these things. So where do leads come from? If you're in anybody who's in the accelerated coaching, just took this, right? This is from the office. This is from the last, well, it's up. I think this is from, this is from a year's worth of commission generated roll page prime. These are real numbers. Okay. 93,000 in direct mail. Sign calls, just under $1 million. Open houses during COVID, $350,000 generated with no open houses during COVID. Crazy. Social media, 228. Repeats, what do you think?
All of the money.
Millions.
Yeah.
Just under 4 million. Referrals, $4.3 million.
Even more than repeats, interesting.
Yeah. Now, this is why we have when you do a deal sheet, and it says source, put it in, because we get to track this, right? I think the nothing marked box is like 25 million, but just a joke. It's not that much, but it's a lot, right? But here it is, right? These are the real numbers. This is what your colleagues, this is what the office is doing. Is this different anywhere in the world? Is there any real estate market super different? No, right? Repeat referral first. So I'm an idiot if I don't talk about it, if we don't talk about it, but we will fight through it because we talk a lot about it. Okay, so, sorry, back it up. You got on your sheet there, you got a whole bunch of different examples, right, on different things you can do. So the veterans in the room who's done a good job with your database, what's the single best thing you want to share it? What's the best thing that you do with your people that gets the best results?
Get in touch with them.
Keep in touch.
Keep in touch, ask them how.
Yeah, how do you, yeah, no. How do you keep in touch? You know that, keep in touch.
Phone calls. Popeyes are actually pretty good.
Okay, Popeyes,
From me, well, client party Popeyes.
client parties, Popeyes, lunches, right? Newsletters, all kinds of different things. You got all, I'm not going to go over all the things. You have them all in there. There's a bunch of ideas. Okay. I don't think we're going to go through all of the ideas, but in general, anytime we're talking about database, I like to have things that are systemized first, put those systems in place that are cheap and free, right? Such as the monthly sold program, such as e-newsletters. You can use the roll page blog once a month. There's all these things that are easy and free to do, that at least they get a reminder that you're alive, you're not dead, you're still selling real estate. Does anybody do Morris Marketing here? New hard print newsletters anymore? A couple of them, okay. I'll just say it out for those who don't know, there's a company called Morris Marketing. They will still create and send out personalized envelope newsletters, still old school newsletters for you. $1.81 per
Yeah,
envelope or
it's like
something like
just
that.
under $2 a person.
Just under $2 a mailer, and they get a physical, and it's a nice looking newsletter, just saying there's companies that do that. Kits is another one, Keep in Touch Systems. They do monthly newsletters for you if you want to do that stuff, okay? But I like to have something that's automated, that goes out, whether I'm sleeping or whether I'm working, there's something that goes out. And then it's the high personal touch things that really make you the money, right? Those are the happy birthdays, the gifts, you know, the Popeyes, all those kind of things, right? I think I don't want to go through much, too much. Does anyone have any questions about ideas for your database? All right, good. So the next though, now that you have a bunch of ideas, you have to schedule these. Again, you guys have seen this stuff. There's two different ones in here. One, this is, you have this digitally as well. I sent it out so you can put it in, right? And you got one that's kind of manual you can muck around with here. There's an example of a database. How many touches do we want for each contact every year?
24 to 36 minutes.
24 to 36, right? So some of you, that may sound like a lot, but I just put one in there for you as a sample. That is a really easy thing to copy. If you don't want to think, copy it. Super easy. Okay. And you want to, and the budget, I mean, I kind of guessed on the budget, but you want to put the investment in as well, right? So each of these months, you want to schedule and put in what you're going to do with your database. Who does this? I know there's some people who have this.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, who has, they know what they're doing every month or every quarter for their database. Okay, Brian, nerd at the front of the class, great.
It works.
Why do you, I know. Hey, John, I would pick on John. John, you know what you're doing every month?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What does it do for you to know that what you're doing every month? Like,
Gives me reassurance that I'm in touch with them, I'm gonna get a call back, giving them good information. Thank you, back.
anybody get overwhelmed with flying by the seat of your pants all the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, especially if you are anybody, let's say all the men in the room ever forgot your wife's birthday or Mother's Day or anniversaries? What happens the day before? You go running around trying to find flowers, or you try to go run around and find jewelry. All sold out. Right, you can't find anything, so you gotta come up with something, right? Maybe that's just me. But anyways, what this does as well, it allows you to prepare and to plan. If you know Mother's Day is coming up and you know what you're going to, you know you're going to buy a dozen roses for every mom in your database. Guess what? You know you need to schedule to order said flowers, right? You can't go on Mother's Day for flowers. Okay, so I'm not going to spend gobs and gobs of time on this. I think we all know you've got to create your database system. If you don't have a database, who has it? I should say, some of the vets in the room, who has a complete, their database is, it's never perfect. But you feel like your database is completely there and you have use a CRM. Peter uses a CRM, the full database, operating it. Okay, so I'm personally mortified. Okay, there's about 5 or 6 hands went up. Does anybody here, and again, I encourage you to have the kahunas. Does anybody here disagree that the database is the single most important thing in your business? They may disagree. Yet less than 10% of the people, well, not 10%, about 10%, 15 to 20% of this room actually has it. Why?
Connection.
Right? That's the benefits, but why don't we have it? Why don't we update it?
Painful to do it.
Painful to do it. It's work. Oh my God.
Not to do it.
It's work. It's way more painful not to do it, right? Okay, so that's great. I'm just gonna pick on this for you. So starting out late, super painful. Great. So if you're new here, what does that tell you?
Start.
Do it now. And if it's painful, okay, you can't have baby without the labor, right? You gotta get this stuff, because what's more painful, and I'll just pick on Jordan as an open book all the time we talk, right? Our last talk was about shit, the rat race and getting off the treadmill and the hamster wheel of this business and wanting to smash your phone to the ground. How's that working out for you? Right? So it's just, this is my loving kick in the arse to say, if you're not doing this stuff, just you all know, it's getting knowing and doing gap. talked about this. It's actually going to come up as well, right? Focus and execution on this and just blocking the time off. I'm going to get some strategies on that, but just, we cannot let this stuff sit anymore. Because the best agents, ones who are doing hundreds of ends, you know, I don't have Royce in front of me or anything like that. They have their database going. Brian's killing it. He's having great hundreds and hundreds of transactions. Database knows his numbers. I just pick on him. Something in common with the top performers. Okay, all right, that's my love you stuff. Okay, just another quick topic on B2B. When you're talking about your database plan, just a quick reminder, don't forget about your B2B people. Put them into your database, right? And make sure they're getting your newsletters. Make sure they're getting this stuff as well. Don't just leave it just for clients, the B2C, right? Because you want to identify and target strategic partnerships. You want to break some bread. This is in your notes if you want to fill in the blanks, right? But this is where, you know, lunches, coffees, all this kind of stuff with your B2B partners is hugely important as well. Does anybody know roughly percentage of business comes from partnerships?
Mine comes more.
Somebody said 20%?
Probably more.
Okay, 20, 30%. I know there's one agent who gets roughly between $100,000 to $150,000 every year from one source of a strategic partner. So we just refers business, right? Your clients can refer you, which is great, and you want them to refer you. But when you have a mortgage broker, a lawyer, contractors, et cetera, and home insurance agents, all this kind of stuff, they have the ability to refer you obscene amount of times. Okay, so we can't forget about them. They love breaking bread. That's the people who take the Jets games and go for drinks with. Sending them referrals, of course, is huge. Right, we want to do that. And there's always some LinkedIn strategies. We flew in this guy, Daryl Keyser from Munson. Did anybody do that? Okay. Anyways, he's a marketing expert. He owns Candy Box Marketing in Toronto. You go to that website and he's got a free 30 days of LinkedIn like lead generation stuff. If you really that's up your alley, it's really good. But you can check that out. The link is there. But anyways, don't forget about your B2Bs when you're doing your database touch system. Okay. I do got to talk about social media. When it comes to how we're going to do some general ideas when it comes to generating some conversations for social media. Now, everybody knows me, knows I'm not wonderful at it. So there's people on here and in this room that are much far superior than I am. So you can definitely talk to them. But the digital world is still about relationships. Okay, this is in your notes. The digital world is still about relationships. Selling is still face-to-face. It's still belly-to-belly. Social media in the digital world is the gateway drug, right? It is the thing that leads to all the other conversations. Again, yes, you can sell homes right now virtually. Yes, you can sell homes from out-of-town buyers, but how many homes are sold belly-to-belly, face-to-face? Almost all of them, right? It still takes that, especially real estate. You want to go touch it, taste it, smell it, lick it, whatever you got to do. So remember the formula. When it comes to social media, the whole point of this is you want to create content, right? That creates conversations. Right. That's why, you know, I follow some guys and some other brokers actually really good at it. They ask these questions in this big giant box and they're like, show me your tattoos. One guy did, Chris Pittman from Calgary. He said, show me your tattoos. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't have any tattoos. But guess what? His feed got filled up with. Man, pictures of all these people's tattoos. And what did he do with all of them? Started talking about them. Now it's not a great real estate, but he started engaging and he actually had conversations because guess what? Conversations are the whole the defining thing of a relationship. Anybody have a really awesome relationship that you don't talk to? There's probably a couple jokes in there somewhere. I don't know what it is, right? Right. But if you have a great relationship with your wife, it's because you talk to her. You have a best friends because you talk, right? You share different things, right? You have to, conversations are the sole foundation of a relationship. Relationships lead to revenue. We know this, okay? So when it comes to social media, just remember what you're doing it for. You guys are probably 90% you're better than me at social media, but this is why you're doing it. Remember, it's to create conversations. It's not just about solds. It's not just about that stuff, which is important. We want to be able there to create conversations because that's what relationships are founded on, right? Fuzzy slide, but when it comes to this as well, when you talk about your business plan for the year, you want to consider, you know, you're building your brand at the same time you're doing everything. And I don't want to spend gobs and gobs of time about what a brand is, but your brand and reputation are basically synonymous. So many people, so many agents think their brand is, okay, yes, it's great having, you know, they can have logos and taglines and all this stuff and how their feature sheets look and how their listing presentations look. That's all part of it. But at the end of the day, any brand, a brand is it defined by what you think you are?
No.
No, it's defined by what others think about you. What word comes to mind when I say, all right, you know these brands, right? Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right, you think of a brand, either it's too expensive or whatever it is, or nice, you have a vision in your head or a picture, you probably might smell what their coffee shops look like, or what they're like in there, right? Now, when you have brand congruency, it's when, here's what I want people to think about me, and here's what they think about me. If those are the same, you're doing a good job branding. If you are not, if you're like, I want everybody to think me as a super successful, intelligent realtor, and then you post crap online, it's not congruent, right? So anything online there, right? That's in the notes again, are your online activities helping you become known as what? What do you want to be known as? If you want to be known as the king of new construction in Bridgewater, well, guess what Phil's gonna post? Lots of shit about new construction in Bridgewater. Right, if you're gonna be the condo king, or if you want to be known as, whatever, the happy-go-lucky kind of realtor, it's just like it's a buddy. You're gonna post different things. Your online activities have to support your brand. And I see a lot of realtors where just either they don't know what they want to be everything to everybody, or they have totally two different things, and what they post online has nothing to do with what they're trying to build in their business. Okay, so those are just a couple things you have to keep in mind when it talks about social media. And the other one is you have to schedule your content. See your notes. This is just from what I've learned, we go down the scrolling hole, right? We just go down that. Also, when we post, how many people haven't posted on the social media recently, and you're like, oh, I've been meaning to do something and I haven't done it in a while, right? A few of us, for sure. It's because it's not scheduled. And so in the notes there, you have a couple pages. This is just basic stuff, okay? This is the same format as the previous one with your database, but you gotta have a schedule for your posts. There's two kind of things I stole, and I'm just gonna say, like I said, I'm not the best at this stuff, but there's a couple little guides here that can help guide you. For the love of God, use Google and just Google social media content for realtors, and you will have 8 million hits, and you can steal stuff all over the place. There's a couple little quick guides, but you want to have your stuff scheduled, because as you know, if it doesn't happen in your schedule, it just doesn't happen, right? If you're like me, I don't honestly think about social media. Like, I don't walk around in the park and be like, oh, I should take a picture of this. It just doesn't work for me. I would have to have it scheduled, so it doesn't get done. Okay. A couple tips with social media, and I've shared these before. I don't think I have a slide on this. Yeah. No. Okay. It does not apply. Sorry. When it comes to social media, I have some bonus tips on there. Being the relevant difference. Relevance is everything, right? If you want to differentiate from your competitors, that's what we all want to do, right? Is anybody? We're all realtors in this room. We all relatively do the same things. How do you stand out? Okay, sure.
Not posting your, yeah.
How do you stand out? What's different from JS David Duluth? Service you do. Right? I'm just here to wake up a little bit. It's all good. What's the difference, right? Relevance is always going to be the hugest difference. You can have different logos, different things, whatever it is, right? Even if you're in the same brand, okay, you have the same logos, whatever it is. But how relevant you are. What does relevance mean? Irrelevant. Anybody know any like irrelevant people? Right? You matter is another word, right? You matter to somebody.
Unique.
Do something, exactly. Do something unique, do something relevant with your customers. And that will set you apart. You don't need to have, well, I'm gonna knock on some people, right? It's like, well, I'm gonna change, I need different signs. I gotta use blue. I use blue, Royal Page. All these Royal Page realtors are all red. I need to be blue. Yeah, because Remax isn't blue, because Coldwell Banker isn't blue, because Realty Executive isn't blue. You're super different because you're blue. Give me a freaking break. Anyways, right? So it's not about that stuff. It's about how relevant you are. And so the relevant difference, that's Jackie Leavenworth's talk on that. Be relevant. And that's where I think social media, and I've shared this numerous times, better listening device than anything else.
How are you guys?
Yes, post. Maybe you want to close that door for me? Cushy? Good. Gino's in there. Anyways, like social media, block off lists for your clients, listen to what's going on in their lives. And if you can respond in the physical form, if you can respond in reality, it just goes the extra mile, right? As opposed to a liking, commenting, and sharing when they get a new baby, when their dog dies or whatever else it is. If you could respond in human form, you will start blowing minds. And the whole database system you're working on, you will see that thing pick up new life and it will really stir up the whole database. It'll get people talking a lot more than any post will. Okay. That's it on social media. And we got to fly. Okay. So those are again, some of the main lead sources. The third lead source that I like you guys to focus on again is your current clients, listings, and buyers. Okay. Now, is this kind of a branch off your database? A little bit, but I'm just going to hammer through some of these because nothing generates business more than what L word? Listings. If you have listings, can you sell them? If you don't have any listings, can you sell them yet? Then unless that's 0 homes for sale, we would all be screwed, right? You need to have listings. What generates when people go to a website? Are they really looking at your 5 tips for fall maintenance? No. When you look at your listings, they're trying to move somewhere, they're trying to buy a freaking house, they're trying to buy real estate. That's what we do. So without listings, you know, it's a lot of realtor fluff, right? And you all have the same guide to buying. You do. All of us, every single realtor has the same freaking guide to buying. Nothing's different. Needs and wants analysis, and this and this. Those are positives. It's all the same, right? The only thing you have different listings. So when you have a listing, you have to maximize your results. You have to squeeze the bloody orange. Anytime you get something, right? Get a client, never let it go. Anytime you get a listing or get a buyer, you have to maximize those buyers and those listings, right? Just looking at a listing and selling a listing is short-sighted. Brian, I know you have this picking on you. What's your target for every listing?
5 ends.
5 ends for every listing. How many people just worry about that one listing and try to get it sold, get the client off your back? Right? Got to think bigger picture, got to think business. Okay, so in your notes, so strategies, right? Number 1, market home with excellence. This is not going to be on the screen. I'm going to talk about it. Right? You have to be excellent. Back when I started, you could get away with murder on listings. We had cell phone pictures. We even have addresses at one point, for crying out loud. Anybody remember that? Anybody? David DeLuca knows that, right? They didn't have addresses at sometimes. Pictures were awful. We didn't even have a front picture sometimes. It was awful. We still sold real estate. Now people expect, you know, having drone shots and videos and all that kind of stuff. It's expected. If you're not doing that, when you see a bad listing with bad pictures, what do you instantly think about that realtor? What a bag of crap. That's honestly what I think of. And so, no, I love all the new agents in here, but if you're there like, well, I'm new, I can't spend money. No, you look like a bag of crap. If you have your listings look like a bag of crap, you look like a bag of crap. Right? Toilet seats down. Excellence, right? Toilet seats down, sure. There's other tips. If you don't know what that looks like, talk to another realtor or get professional photos, but it's expected now, right? You have to market the home with excellence. That's just, it's just minimum now, right? Number 2, don't be cheap, right? This is Royce Finley special for those. Best advice he ever gives people is don't be cheap. Advertise everywhere. Don't skimp on advertising when it comes to a listing. Why?
That gets you business.
It gets you business. It gets you leads. If Brian wants to do 5 ends, he can't just put it on Facebook on the free section, right? He pays for sponsored ads. You probably boost it to the top. I don't know. I'm not going to get into his stuff, but that's what you have to do. Don't be cheap. Advertise it everywhere because it's one lead can be, you know, how much is the value of one client? Remember this? What's the lifetime value of one client? On average, it's $100,000. The lifetime value, because if you do things right, you are going to have a great database referral system. You are going to get leads from them. You are going to get referrals, and they will probably repeat. Now, if they're 75 years old, the lifetime value is probably not 100,000, right? Might be, but usually we're talking about in that 25 to 35, 4-year-old bracket. They're going to move again. They're going to refer you. Every client is worth $100,000. That's how a business owner thinks, not how a realtor thinks. What's a realtor think? Client's worth $6,000 today. I'm going to sell them that house. It's going to be $6,000. They don't take the 100. Okay. So anyways, don't be cheap. Advertise everywhere that you can online. Get out there as many places as you can. Number 3, leverage open houses. Right. Yes, I'm still harping on open houses because it generated $350,000 in COVID. You weren't allowed to generate. We're not allowed to do open houses. Right. It just works. The numbers are there. We have the data. So we'll consider neighbors only. Keep it well advertised and signed. John, you did a great job. You guys do a really good job with open houses, right? Any other ideas that work out there from some of the vets that are out there, so I don't have to? Nobody wants to share?
Community pages are huge.
No, laser people. Community pages, okay, put it on there. Doing pre-videos, right? Making sure that it's well signed in advance. right? Not just showing up 5 minutes before. If you're doing somebody else's open house, make sure you know about the house. You don't go in there looking like an idiot. Talk to the realtor ahead of time, take a tour ahead of time, ask the questions, figure it out so that you know that you can act and talk like a pro. Okay, be seller focused. Okay, it's number 3. Now you might say, what do you mean by pick up buyers there? Yes, easy to pick up buyers, but do you want more listings or do you want more buyers? Right? So, and some people are like, well, how do I actually get more more listings? Without getting into the big thing, into the weeds on it, everything you do should be seller focused. So do you have guide to buying at your open house or do you have guide to selling? Right? Some people do both. A lot of people are like, oh, I always do the buying one, right? And what questions do you ask? Where are you looking? What kind of home are you looking for? What kind of home do you want to buy? Buyer questions. How would you ask a seller question?
Tell me about where you're living right now.
Yeah, where are you living right now? You own your home? Have you had an evaluation on it? It's just asking seller questions, being seller focused more than buyers. It's just these little subtleties that you can do in an open house that are going to lead to more sellers. And that's why the whole neighbors only thing is so powerful, because you go and meet other home sellers, right? If they're buying, they have something to sell. Their neighbors, they own the freaking homes already. So you're talking to sellers, not buyers. Right? Say, well, want more listings? Yes, okay, good. Seller focused giveaways, contests, goodie bags are always fun to to do little extras, right? So you're gonna walk through 10 open houses that day. What makes yours a little special? So sometimes some gift bags and things like that are good. Some swag, put your pens and notepads and crap in there, right? And then follow up is the big one, right? For those of you who are in the Accelerate coaching, we had John on our prospecting thing. John made how many phone calls, lead open house lead follow-ups? You guys remember it, right? Keeps all his open house sign-in sheets. Another great idea, I'll give credit to Jen Goulet for it, was we're working on this too with our marketing department right now, is creating QR codes for feature sheets so that you can actually have a downloadable feature sheet to get their email or cell phone number to get the feature sheet. We're following up anyways. And where and when appropriate, create some mystery. Okay. And what I mean by that is, yes, we want to give as much information to the clients as possible, but if you can create a little bit of mystery with your listing, with your social media posts, with your coming soons, right? If you say coming soon, 123 Main Street at $420,000, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, and you give them all the information in one little ad. What do they have left to ask? Do they have a reason to call you? No, so create a little mystery, right? So create a little, it's this 3 bedroom home in this neighborhood is a price you won't believe. Just making things up on the top of my head here. Who's more likely to get a click and a comment, right? So just think about that, create a little mystery, see what little things you can leave to have people need to call you, need to ask you questions. Sorry. All right, last one on that page, ask for referrals from your current buyers and sellers. This is huge. I know anybody who's been through the Buffini program and things like that, you know this one, but it is so effective and so powerful, especially with your buyer clients. Great source of business for your existing buyers and existing sellers. Why is that? What do they? What's the biggest thing happening in their world?
Selling their house, buying a house.
Exactly. So what do they talk about everywhere they go?
And selling the real estate.
They're talking about real estate. They're talking about who? You. Everywhere they go. They go for drinks. They say, what is the first question? Oh, what's new? Well, we're looking for a house. We want to move into this neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Who's your realtor? All that kind of stuff comes out. We're talking about if they're selling their house, it's for sure the biggest thing happening in their life. They have to take their kids out every bloody day, get babysitters and get the dogs out, all that kind of stuff. It is their number one focus every day. And what you focus on is what you attract. So these people, it's called the reticular activator for the scientists in the room, right? If you are focused on something, it's what you attract and you happen to notice it everywhere, right? So your active buyers and sellers are your hottest prospects to get referrals. So you have to educate them on how to refer you, right? Explain how you work. Everybody know this one, right? You work by referral. What does that mean? What's the benefit? How can you phrase it so that your clients get benefited besides paying them, benefited by sending you a referral? What's in it for them?
The referral gets treated as good as I treat them. So they're in good hands.
So you know he's in good hands? Yeah, absolutely. Right? But long and the short of it is, hey, I work by referral, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mrs. and Mrs. Seller. And what that means is, while most realtors go spending their time day and night trying to chase down new business, pick up the phone, doing open houses with the intention of not selling the house, all this kind of stuff they have to do every day at work and advertise, spend all the time and money. I'm gonna put my time and money into you. I'm doing such a damn good job of it that you have to refer me, because if you don't refer me, my kids don't eat. Because this is my source of business. I'm gonna put all my time, effort, energy into you. So while you're going and while you're meeting buyers and sellers at Earls and everything else you're doing, keep me in mind, when people start asking about your real estate, I want you to pass on my name to them and I want you to pass on their names to me. Because that way I can keep focusing on you getting your home sold, getting you the right house, instead of spending half my day knocking on doors. Or half my day, whatever it is, and you just paint that picture for them. Now they want to refer you because you're gonna do a great job, but also, well, shit, I want Michael to sell my house. I don't want him to go knock on doors and have to go chase leads or advertise or go put his face on urinal cakes. Right? So explain how you work by referral and then be referable. You can't work by referral and then suck. Doesn't work. It breaks the whole system down. Right? That's what we got to ask. All right, we're fine. There's some other stuff in there. There's marketing samples for homes and all that kind of stuff. You got some extra resources in there, and check out your emails. Okay. Lead source number 4. This is again the format. Those are the 3 that I think are the most effective. If anybody wants to disagree, happy to talk about it. It's not really a right or a wrong thing. Those are the 3 I would recommend focusing on. What's the 4th one? What's the 5th one? Can you have 15 lead sources? You can, but most of them wouldn't be great, right? It's tough, but if you can maximize, if you can nail those 3, you're gonna have a really good business. And if you can get on to 4th and create new revenue streams, even better. And the format's the same. There's a whole bunch of examples. There's a million different lead sources that you can think of. And then all it is a matter of scheduling. What's the strategy behind it? How often am I going to do it? What format am I going to do it in? And what's it going to cost me? Okay. So there's all kinds of other ones. Any questions on that? Lead sources? Okay. So you can open that. Cushy, is it quiet out there? Megan? Can you open that door?
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is just because I was pretty proud of this. I made this the other day. So again, some of the coaching guys get this one. Again, this is the whole process, the whole system with this stuff. You got to create leads from all these different sources, right? You got geographic farming, you got listings, all these different things. You create leads, right? That's your number 7s. Your number 1s down the bottom of that pyramid. They go in there, they spit out people to your referrals. That's what creates the appointments and the clients, right? You do an amazing job with them. You move C's to B's and B's to A's. You do a great job nurturing the relationship. You call them on their birthdays. You do all this wonderful stuff. You drop by with gift baskets and whatever else. You have client parties and you do a great job. You talk to them and converse with them and care about them, right? And they're going to refer you. It's A's refer. C's don't refer. A's refer, right? And then you get a client out of it, right? You get deals. You get to serve that client. You do a great job for them. You do a great job listening to them. Market with excellence. You do a great job looking for them with buyers. You give them client gifts and all this kind of shit. Anyways, you blow some minds along the way. And you go the extra mile. What happens when you blow some minds? Dissatisfied people refer? No, they don't. Raving fans refer. Advocates refer. People who are in love with you refer you. Satisfied is not enough, right? That generates referrals, repeat business. When you get a referral from an A, you get a C. Maybe. But a lot of times A's refer A's. Because good people know good people and they're going to give you a solid referral. That's the one, right? You're stupid if you don't use it. You're stupid if you don't use it. Okay. That's your business. That's the whole thing, right? If you only do this, you prospect and take care of your database, it'll be okay. But if you screw up all your deals, right? I got these clients and I got sued on all of them, right? It's not great for repeat. They're not going to use it again. They're not going to refer you. Right? If you just do this stuff, you're cool, but guess what? Your business stays relatively stagnant and it will grow a little bit in time organically, which is cool. But if you want the steroids into it, you got to keep generating the leads, keep growing the database. You get the system, right? That is the business. Okay. Whew. So in order to do all this stuff, every day, initiate conversations, deepen relationships, serve the crap out of your clients. Okay? Blow some minds. That creates the whole wonderful wheel. So when we talk about this stuff, I hope you got some ideas. You hopefully now have some targets set that's based on your vision. It's based on what you want out of your life. So you've got some financial targets. Okay, hopefully you've got some lead generation ideas. You've got some systems to put into place so you can execute on those lead generation ideas. What you have to do, and this is the only thing that's ever worked for me in my life, in my business, and I think we're doing okay, is you have to schedule it in. A dream, a to-do list, a target, whatever you want to call it, if it's not scheduled into your daily planner, is nothing more than a fantasy. It's just not going to happen. Anybody have any projects that they wanted to get around to, never got around to yet? It's just not scheduled in. So when we look at something like your perfect week, I start with the year. So the first one there in your notes, lay out the year and plot your important dates and events. Plan your vacations, your conferences. When are you gone? When is your family trips? Book that stuff off first, because what happens if you don't book it off? If you don't book off your vacation, it doesn't happen. And you end up going, ugh, to me at 10 o'clock last night saying, I need a vacation. Right? Okay, so you start of the year, lay out that stuff, and then you want to prioritize and schedule your activities each week. Right? The key to everything is priorities. Not to talk too personally here, or anything like that. I want to talk about myself. I don't like it. But at one point, when we were growing, the office was doing really well. I had, in 1 week, I had numerous people ask me, how are you doing this? How are you doing it? How are you doing it all? And it's not that I'm anything special, but I basically told them, I said, you know what? There's a lot of balls that hit the ground. A lot of balls in the air. I'm juggling a lot of things, and a lot of them hit the ground. I just make sure I catch the right ones. Make sure I catch the important ones, the ones that matter most. There's emails I haven't responded to. There's people probably waiting my phone. There's a lot of people that are trying to get my attention right now. I don't catch every ball. It's impossible. But I make sure I catch the right ones. And that's what prioritizing will do is, and then you just learn to let go of some of the other ones. And some of them truly are a waste of time. And if you can get to them, you can get to them. But no one's going to take you off of your priorities, because your priorities lead you to all this stuff. This is your priority every day. It's going to get you to that. It's going to get you that life. Another person wanting your attention or wanting to go for lunch or whatever it is, if they're not part of this plan, it's not a priority. Get to them when you can. Get them on the free day. Get them to that Friday afternoon or whatever it is. Okay, so I can't speak enough for prioritizing and scheduling. So I have some tips that you work backwards and then schedule, prioritize the tasks that are closest to your money. What should your priorities be as a real estate agent? I just gave it to you. That it's funnel, relationship, client service, right? This is, the funnel is the most important. So you got to keep the leads coming in. That's the thing, right? These three things, that's your priority. That should be your priorities. The thing that's closest to the money should be your priorities. All the other stuff is cool. It's good. Get to it. Right? Get to it. Schedule that stuff in first. It doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean you never do it. It's just, it's not scheduled in first. Right? So I'll pick on John again. I know his schedule. He blocks off his time to do his prospecting calls. He's great on the phone. You see him, he come in the office of Henderson. He's locked in his room. Why? It's scheduled. Scheduled. He knows what he's going to do it, so he executes on it. Okay. Yep. All right. All right. Where are we going here? Back one. All right. Utilize technology where appropriate, right? Is the third bullet point there, right? You got Sphere, you got things like BombBomb, Prospects, Mobile, Google, Apple Calendars, Calendly, Slack, Trello. If it was me, when I'd be doing it coming into this new year, is I'd be booking appointments and everyone. I'd be going on an app called Calendly. If you're familiar with it, I have it. You can book appointments with me anytime. I'd go on Calendly and I'd book an appointment, and I create an event called a 15-minute consultation or 15-minute home evaluation or something like that. And I'd be sending it to my clients over the next few months, and when it comes time for New Year's, new evaluations, all that kind of stuff. And you can just send out to clients and they can just book in with you whenever they want for a 15-minute virtual assessment of their home. Right? There's all these kind of different things in technology you can do to make this schedule, to make these things easier. Okay. I'll throw it in this on your notes, but if you are at a certain point in volume where you're spending most of your time and the administration is dragging you down, it might probably time for hiring an assistant. Okay, so they can work on some of these things that do take the administrative part of the job and not the money making
Can I
stuff.
ask you a question?
Please do.
But on average, when do you find agents need an admin? How many deals, what GCI?
It's not so much the GCI be on the deals. I'd say starting around 40 deals, 40 to 50 deals is when you start needing an assistant. It doesn't mean you can't have one earlier, right? Because in theory, you have more time to free up to go prospect and do all the work. But typically, that's where you see people start to go, right? For both of those, you can go from 20 deals to 40 deals, life changing. A little bit, but you can do it, right? 40 to 80 on your own. Not at, right? It's a grind, and I know agents who've done it personally, and they, and it's not, they don't like it. It's not worth it. So that's where they have to start getting assistance. So that's what just usually I find the 40 to 50 doesn't have to be, right? If you have 35 deals, do it then. But anyways, that's the answer. Did that answer your question, Brian? Feel bad for this recording. I got a side view of my face. Anyways, so utilize technology, get assistance if you need it. Then the most important plan of all. Again, all of this stuff we just did, all of the targets, all the planning, it's all great, it's all good. But if you do not get your head right, if you aren't right, it's all trash. Because guess what's going to happen? If you ain't right, what's going to happen to your plan? It's going to get done. Not going to get done. You just wasted 2.5 hours of your life. You walk out of here feeling a little bit smarter, or maybe you got an idea, great. If you ain't right, your head ain't right, it's wasted 2.5 hours. Killed some trees. Bullshit, waste of time. So you got to get your head right. The largest gap in the world, it's on the screen, it's on my voice. Largest gap in the world is the gap between knowing and doing. Right? So my good old father taught me this one, drills into my head every day. We know what we should do. We know we should do this stuff. Well, I know that. I know I got to make my calls. I know I got to prospect. I know I got my database, but then you don't do it. Right? So what's the difference between what bridges the gap between knowing and doing? Right? What fills the gap is commitment. You can't just have this plan as a good idea. You've got to be committed to it. Otherwise, it won't get done. You got to be committed to your spouse, to your partner, to your job, whatever it is. We don't try these things out. I'm not interested in being married to my wife. I'm committed to it. So you put in the work every day. Some days. Right? So the 4 commitments that you need to have. Number 1, commitment to responsibility. You take responsibility for yourself, for this plan. No one else is going to do it for you. Right? You got to eliminate excuses. Stop blaming everyone else. This is on you. It's your business. You own it. This is your business plan. You own it. Right? It's not the other agent's fault. It's not the market's fault. It's on you. Right? Commitment to energy. Number 2. You've got to manage, if you're going to do this thing called business, if you're going to do real estate especially, only thing I know is if you're not physically right as well, you ain't going to be right. Right? You need the energy to do it. You have to have your health. You need to have your mind, your wits about you. So manage your sleep, physical energy, working out, etc. You got to commit to maintaining your energy. You got to, number 3, you got to commit to learning. Always, always growing. If you're not right, people either stay sharp or get sloppy. They don't change much. Right? Words of Daniel Ocean from Ocean's 11. But you got to continue and be committed to learning. There's always something new. And this, I'll say, who's been around for a while? How much has this industry changed, David? Right? He's being facetious, just a little bit. JH Phil, we've been around for a while, 10 years, whatever. I can't believe how much has changed. I don't even recognize the business anymore. And those who are making it, anybody seen realtors fizzle out lately? Have their businesses all dry up? Some of the vets in the room? Have the business surpass them? Right? Didn't stay sharp, didn't stay current with things, right? It happens quickly. And number 4, commitment to action. That is the most important one of all of them, is you have to do. This is a doing business. This is John Frey's talking right now. You don't get paid to know, you don't get paid to train, you don't get paid to learn, you don't get paid right now, you get paid to do. You get paid to act, you get paid to sell. So we have to get commitment to action. All right, a few just little bullet points. Success of any venture project is 20% technical, 80% execution. Right? You need to have a good plan. Planning is good, but if you don't execute, again, it's useless. We know this. Right? So I asked the question, what state are you in? The state is defined as a mode of condition or being, mind and temperament. So what is your plan for your mental diet? What is your plan for your mental diet? We got plans for business. We're going to be making calls and all that kind of stuff. That's cool. What's your plan for your mental diet this year? What do you want? The next one. Yeah. What will you be reading and what will you be listening to? I'm going to butcher this quote, But when you when you start investing in yourself, you go from having a business to making a fortune, I believe it's called. Is that how you get that right? I know it's from my old pal Brian. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Miss Jim Rohn, something like that. Anyways, you start investing in yourself, you start really making a fortune. Right? So what conferences are you going to take this year? What's the plan? How are you going to schedule those in? The last question there is, who do you need to be around? Who do you need to be around? Who are the right people? So we hang around, right? We're a product of the people we hang around. We're a product of our environment. So who do you need to be around? Who maybe doesn't need all your attention? Who do you got to cut out a little bit? I was getting deep, but again, if we're focused, and remember, focus on execution and commitments, we're committed to those goals. We're committed to that vision. Are there people in your life that aren't as committed to your vision? Are there people that are trying to dissuade you from your vision, to distract you from your vision? Don't come alongside of it, right? For those people who are, if there's people in your life, and I got them too, I love them to death. People come alongside the vision, who believe in the vision, who actually cheer you on. And we got cheerleaders in our lives, right? We want to stay close to those people, want to have them around. Anybody have people in their life that sucks the life right out of you? Walk in the room and they're just, ugh, why are they here? They don't want you to succeed. They're jealous. Okay, and I'm talking real stuff, but what's that plan too? Okay, it says, who are 3 people you admire and why? Spend time with them. Who are the people you admire in your life? And if there's people that are past, you really can't spend time with them. Who are the people you admire? Who are the people doing stuff that you want to do? Who are the people that are acting and living the way you want to live? Because if you don't get around people who are doing what you want to do, it's the crab bucket mentality. You just cannot grow. So the most important plan of all is, what are you doing for you? What's your plan for you? So recapping all this, it comes down to the last page there. It says my why. Why are we doing this all? Why do we spend 2.5 hours listening to Michael, watch him sweat in the front of the room? Right? Why do we do all this? Why do we work? Why do we grind? Why do we toil? You got to know why. If you don't know why, then again, I've just seen too many realtors, too many friends, too many colleagues drift away, burn out, fade away, get in a rut, never get out, end up miserable. I don't know why they can't do it. Okay, seen it all. And the people who walk with a bounce in their step, who light up the room, who have amazing businesses, who have great clients, great relationships, and have great families, they're doing it because they know why. There's a purpose behind it. So I want you to take the last couple minutes here. Don't walk out yet. Just take a couple minutes. Write down some. You don't have to go through all 10. Write a couple reasons why you're doing this. What's the purpose? Why are you in real estate? What do you want to get out of it? That vision that you created. Why are we doing this? It goes back to those 5 circles. You're coming full circle here. A couple minutes. I'll play one more cheesy song for Daniela.
I'm not where I wanna be. I'm not where I wanna be. In the summertime, it feels good. In the summertime, it feels good. Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. Nobody stopping us now.
Oy, oy, oy. All right, so we got a few down. Anybody care to share? Why are you doing this? Family? What about it? What about family? Who said that? I couldn't hear you. Oh, it was you. Sorry, Daryl. What about family?
We'll just be able to spend more time with family and better quality time.
Awesome. Right?
A lot of lifestyle for them,
For who's them?
Tyler.
Okay, you're gonna be the sugar mama? Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Sorry, now I am.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's no wrong answers here.
Building relationships.
Building relationships. Okay. Good. Right. There's no wrong answer when it comes to your why, but it's important to know it. Because if we remember it earlier in this, vision is what's going to fuel that purpose. It gives purpose. The why, the vision, it's all tied together. Okay. And without those things, I find this to be a lot of paper. With those things, I find this to be incredibly powerful. So it all needs to come together. I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your day to do this. I hope you got a couple nuggets out of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, Cassandra did follow or did send out you have these things in digital formats. If you want to do them digitally, print them out. I encourage you to go through it again with spouse, partner, whatever it is, and really get those expenses down. We got our target set. Also, just a couple little quick things. If anybody wants to voluntarily share them with me or anything like that, happy to do so. Towards the back half of November, December, those who've been around a while, we'll be kind of starting some one-on-ones again and talking about some goal planning. So I'm going to want to know your targets for the next year. And we're going to connect. We'll be setting up some Calendly things with me in the next, starting back half of November all the way through January. It's a lot of meetings. So I hope we can do this stuff and we'll talk about it more. Do we have any questions, comments, anything?
No, thanks for taking the time.
Thank
Come on, guys. Take care. Good week.